Shadows lengthen in the void, but inside Station Pinnacle, the darkness is educational. The lecture hall was carved from the cold, unyielding rock of an asteroid, a fitting tomb for the innocence of the 247 cadets seated within. At the podium stood Commander Vel, his purple scales glinting under the harsh lights like armored plating. He held the posture of a creature who had stared into the abyss, found it horrifying, and promptly filed a report on it. The room was silent, save for the hum of the air recyclers and the breathing of future soldiers unaware that a monster was sitting in the front row, chewing gum. "Welcome," Vel intoned, his voice vibrating with the promise of trauma, "to Death World Protocol's Advanced Section." He activated the hololith, spinning a globe of deceptively serene blues and greens. "We discuss Earth, Class 7. Gravity, .98 standard. A planet that wakes up every morning and chooses violence." For the next hour, Vel dismantled the cadets' understanding of survivability. He spoke of the atmosphere first, oxygen levels high enough to act as a slow-burning poison, a gas that once birthed insects with wingspans that could shadow a child. He described the water cycle not as a life-giving force, but as a weapon system. Freezing rain, hail the size of fists falling at terminal velocity. "Humans," Vel whispered, the horror palpable, "invented a sport called golf to play in these conditions. They call it character building." The cadets shifted uneasily. A crystalline Vnari refracted light in patterns of pure anxiety. A four-armed Torquin, usually smug in his high-gravity heritage, uncrossed his limbs, his confidence evaporating. "It gets worse," Vel promised. He conjured images of the weather, hurricanes and tornadoes, atmospheric violence that tore cities apart on a whim. He spoke of the food chain, where humans kept apex predators, felines, as house guests. He described a human named Steve, who wrestled venomous reptiles for entertainment, declaring them beautiful as they tried to kill him. It is a strange irony of the universe that the most dangerous creatures often lack the common sense to be afraid. Then came the biology. Vel described the human body as a walking biological war zone, colonized by trillions of bacteria, an immune system that operated with the ruthlessness of a death squad. He spoke of allergies, where a human could consume a peanut, a simple legume, and their own body would violently self-destruct in protest. "And the humans themselves," Vel's voice dropped to a conspiratorial dread. "Persistence, predators." The hologram showed a human running, not sprinting, but trotting, endlessly. Vel explained the nightmare of pursuit predation, a creature that does not outrun you, but outlasts you. A self-cooling engine of sweat and stamina that jogs until its prey dies of exhaustion. He highlighted their throwing arm, a limb evolved for ballistic genocide, capable of calculating trajectory and wind resistance instinctively. And finally, their eyes, forward-facing, binocular, the eyes of a wolf. "They make eye contact," Vel shuddered. "To them, it is social. To the rest of the galaxy, it is a threat display." A Kixari cadet raised a trembling hand. "Commander, has anyone actually survived this hell?" The room fell into a silence so deep it felt like the air had been sucked out. Then, a hand went up in the front row. Marcus Webb. He looked disturbingly average. "I was born there," Marcus said. Vel's scales drained of color. The cadets recoiled as if Marcus had just unhinged a jaw. "I lived there for 22 years, Marcus continued, shrugging with terrifying casualness. "It's not that bad. You just check the weather, and peanut butter is delicious." In that moment, the perspective shifted. To Marcus, the storms and the predators were just background noise, the hum of a normal Tuesday. To the class, he was a myth made flesh, a creature who treated their nightmares as mundane. He tried to explain that staring wasn't aggressive, that he was just being polite. But the Torquin in the back had already put his head on his desk in defeat. The lecture ended in a frantic evacuation. Cadets fled the hall, casting fearful glances at the human. Marcus became an instant legend, the subject of terrified whispers in the cafeteria. Risa, a Phoenix cadet, eventually gathered the courage to ask him how he lived with it. "I'm just a guy," Marcus said. "I like bad movies. I can't do math." "That," she whispered, "is what makes it terrifying." But the universe has a way of rewarding survival. 3 weeks later, Marcus received a notification. He wasn't being quarantined. He was being promoted. The message was brief. Teaching assistant, Death World protocols. Marcus leaned back, a smile playing on his lips that was perhaps a little too predatory for the comfort of his peers. Commander Vell might need therapy. But Marcus? He was just getting started. After all, he hadn't even told them about the spiders yet.